Check, 1, 2.
Chad Hazard, please report to the main flight deck. We are about to take off, with or without you. Okay. I guess Chad's not here today.
No Chad? Huh?
Wait, is he coming?
Okay, should we just go? I got it.
We can start.
Okay, so welcome everybody to Unity of Calgary. Let's begin with some beautiful music from our band.
Hello to those. Oh, yeah. Hello to you. And hello to you at home. I assume there are some people at home. I have come here seeking freedom. I have come here seeking peace. I have come here to go deeper into the truest part of me. And it's here in this place. I can see it on each face. Oh, it's here where we are. I can feel it in my heart. Oh, yes, something wonderful is happening here today. Something wonderful is happening here in me. It's real, it's true. It's my spirit shining through. Oh, yes, something wonderful is happening here today. Da-da-da-da. I've come here to remember who I truly am inside. I've come here to release it. I no longer have to hide. Oh, yes, I can let go. I can let my feelings go. Oh, yes, here in this place, I can show my spirit's face. Oh, yes, something wonderful is happening here today. Something wonderful is happening here in me. Oh, it's real, yes, it's true. It's my spirit shining through. Oh, yes, something wonderful is happening here today. And the life I once knew, all the things I have been through, now I see as it's here, every step has led me here. And it's here in this room that I'll find my deepest truth. Oh, yes, here I just know that I'll find my spirit's home. Oh, yes, something wonderful is happening here today. Something wonderful is happening here in me. Oh, it's real, yes, it's true. It's my spirit shining through. Oh, yes, something wonderful is happening here today. Oh, yes, something wonderful is happening here today. And it's happening here in me. Can you guys hear my guitar while the band is playing? I can't hear my guitar. You could hear it? Oh, can I get a little more of my guitar in this little box then there, Bob? Okay, everybody, you're welcome to stand, sit, assume the lotus position, downward dog, whatever works for you while you are singing, humming, mumbling, We're going to do a few songs together. Together, we will sing the songs. I will sing the song. You will sing the song. Everyone sing the song. Though I have eyes, I am not what I see. Though I have ears, I am not what I hear. You can stand up if you want. I have hands, I am not a human doing. I'm a spirit being in human form. Oh, I am spirit. I am spirit. I am spirit wrapped in human form. I am spirit. I am spirit. I exist beyond this human form. I have feet. I am not. I have wings. Though I have thoughts, I am not what I think. I may feel, I am not my feelings. I'm a spirit being in human form. I am spirit. I am spirit. I am spirit wrapped in human form. I am spirit. I am spirit, and I exist beyond this human form. I am spirit. I am spirit. I am spirit wrapped in human form. Oh, I am spirit. I am spirit, and I exist beyond this human form. I am spirit. I am spirit. I am spirit wrapped in human form. I am spirit. I am spirit. I exist beyond this human form. I exist beyond this human form. I exist beyond this human form. On my own, I am only one. With your voice, I can do much more. I let go, and I'm not alone. You appear and lead me home. Sing through me. Sing through me. Use my voice, Spirit, won't you sing through me? Behind my walls I can feel so strong. With your love I can open up. I let go, and I'm not alone. You appear, and I fall into your arms. Love through me. Love through me. Use my heart, Spirit, won't you love through me? All around there is so much hurt. With your power we can heal our world. We let go and we're not alone. appear and to heal us all. Heal through me. Heal through me. Use my life, Spirit, won't you heal through me? Sing through me. Sing through me. Use my voice, Spirit, won't you sing through me? Love through me. Feel through me. Sing through me.
All right, beautiful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anthony, I'm curious, what did you have for breakfast? That was a very fun start. Thank you. That was a very, very fun start. Welcome to Unity of Calgary. My name is Susan Cullen, and I'm part of the spiritual leadership team here at Unity of Calgary. And a very warm welcome to all of you who are here in person. Yay! And those of you who are online and joining us from wherever you are in the world. This is our first Sunday of no restrictions. Well, besides the masks, of course, but hopefully that's only one more day. We'll see. I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been going out into the world. Have you seen those videos of the dogs and the animals who've been part of scientific experiments, and then they let them free onto the grass? And they take like 1 and 2 steps, and they're kind of looking around like, what's going on? What is this? So, Independence Day in the States, a very very special, yes, greeting. What is this? We don't have any from the States, but anyway, all right. One of those sentences you start and you don't know how you're going to finish it. All right, a very warm welcome wherever you are in the world, in the States, in Canada, right here in our very own room. And if it's your first time here, the most important thing to know is that wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are always welcome here at Unity of Calgary. All right, let's begin by going within with an affirmative prayer. I invite you to just gently close your eyes, if it's comfortable for you to do so, to take a deep breath in, and just take your awareness to your breath, moving in and out as you affirm for yourself. Nature gives me all the guidance that I need for my life. I see the sunshine, I see the rain, and I know that in my own life, I have those same weather patterns. Times of struggle, times of ease. And no matter what, it brings me wholeness and balance. As I take a deep breath in, I find that place of love that I am, and I rest into it. And so it is. All right, with a little musical interlude as well. I invite you to affirm our statement of being with me. Our statement of being is a statement about why it is we gather in spiritual community. Because on this crazy thing we call life, it's just so much easier to have friends, isn't it? All right, let's affirm together. We are here as love to celebrate the one power, the one presence in our lives, in this community, and in the universe. And we have our daily word reader today, our very own Lisa Balfour. And the daily word, of course, you can see on our website. Every day you can get your own subscription if you want. And we have our bulletin board back. So if you would like to be one of our daily word readers, there is now a schedule back up on the bulletin board. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Okay. So the scripture thing that it's coming from is Galatians 5:1. For freedom, Christ has set us free. And the reading, the word is freedom. In thought, word, and action, I celebrate my freedom. There are many ways to feel free. I may work hard to become financially free. I may plan trips so I can freely explore the world. I may commit to learning for intellectual freedom or exercise my body for greater freedom of movement. Even as I do my work in the world, to know freedom, I remember that I am always free at the level of spirit. No situation or circumstance has power over me. Every day, in every area of my life, I live from my divine nature, where I am wholly, completely free. Through my inner powers of understanding and faith, I recognize and embrace empowering beliefs. My spiritual gifts of strength and release keep me on course and help me free myself from habits that derail my spiritual growth. Through God within, I am grateful to be free. And just reading this now, looking at it now, and whatever, thinking of what I've been through since 2017, you get in habits. And like when I was with my partner and a certain way of doing things, he's not there anymore, but it's taken me a while to realize he gave a certain hamper to his daughter that I wanted to use. It took me over 6 months to think, like, why does it have to stay in that room? Why can't I use it? You know, breaking free from different habits and creating my own freedom sort of thing and own routines. So, still working on it.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, indeed. Aren't we all working on that? Being free of our habits, our way of thinking. Yeah, I think it's Joe Dispenza that's, what's his book called? Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. How about that for a book title? Yes. Sounds like maybe a book I ought to look into. I am aware of his work, and it is very powerful. So here we gather in Calgary, and we are one of almost 900 centers around the world who come together, the people come together to bring the same message of spiritual awakening and inspiration. And we have adopted the worldwide vision. I invite you to affirm it with me. We envision a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And how we do that here at Unity of Calgary is captured by our mission statement And this is the statement that guides everything that happens here in terms of the leadership of Unity of Calgary, the board, and the SLT. I invite you to affirm it with me. We are a welcoming, vibrant, spiritual community that inspires hearts and transforms lives by expressing our divine essence. And so if those statements resonate with you, I'm so delighted that you are here with us. This is obviously a place that resonates with your own soul. All right, some ways that we do that. It's summertime. How great is that? Next week, we have our very own Katie Grinham. She is going to be talking about the power of spiritual understanding. Looking at what is our affirmation for this whole month. The whole month is going to be about understanding. And the affirmation is, with spiritual understanding, I know that everything is unfolding for my highest good. When things are good, it sure seems that way, doesn't it? And when things are challenging, it can be a little more challenging. So I know she's going to have a lot of wonderful wisdom to share with us next week. Coffee chats in the park, North Glenmore Park. I finally made it there on Monday at 1 o'clock and had a lovely conversation. And so I invite you to come out, weather permitting. I don't know what the forecast is for tomorrow, but you can always contact Shona if you're not sure. All the details that you need for where to go and what time are in the newsletter. But it's 1 o'clock, basically at the end of Crowchild Trail South. You keep going until you find a parking lot on the right-hand side in North Glenmore Park, and that's where you'll find everybody. I'd say follow the love, follow your heart, and you will find our peeps. Our next picnic, put it onto your calendar, is July 18th. How fun is it to be outside? So we're trying to have a picnic once a month in the summertime so that we can enjoy the outdoors. And so our next one is July 18th. Again, set your intention. By the way, you guys did a fabulous job of setting your intention for the perfect weather for the last one. So let's do it again. Let's make that, 22 degrees, partly cloudy, and no wind. Let's try no wind this time. That might be a little more helpful. Bring your chair, bring your own lunch. It's going to be a really cool morning, so we'll tell you more about that next week. Also, just a reminder, at the beginning of each month, we remind you that if you are here in person, to please not wear any scents, that we do have some people who are very allergic and reactive to those scents, so we appreciate your respectful behavior in not wearing those strong chemical scents. All right, and where to find us? So many places to find us. On the webs, we have our website, unityofcalgary.org, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. What am I missing? And of course, our newsletter that comes out once a week. So that is the place where it has all the latest information and inspiration, thanks to Danelle Pacey. And yes, fabulous job. Who else besides me looks forward to the email, the newsletter now? So it's not just news. We should now, we need a new name for it, like the newsletter, the inspiration and newsletter? Newsletter? I don't know. We'll figure that out. All right, enough of me nattering on. Let's have Anthony and the Unity Band sing us a beautiful song.
Deep in my cells, the wells of hunger, I am longing to be healed. And as I go within and under, what was hidden is revealed. And I exalt the oneness that gave me breath. I exalt the oneness that gives me breath. And am that I am. Deep beyond my mind, I find a silence, and I can feel I'm letting go. And I can sense that something greater is waiting to take hold. There beyond my suffering, I am well, so I let go of my suffering. I am well. I fall deep into who I truly am, and there I find that I was always one with all there is, and that I am that I am. I fall deep into who I truly am. There I find that I was always one with all there is, and that I am that I am, and that I am that I am. Oh yes, I am that I am.
Ah, wasn't that beautiful? All right. So before we have our speaker today, we are going to have our guided meditation to open ourselves up, open up our hearts to listen. So Anthony's going to lead us in a little bit of a chant song. We'll do a guided meditation, then we'll chant on the way out, and then I'll introduce our speaker this morning.
I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love.
And I invite you to take a deep breath in. And as you let it go, bringing yourself present to this moment. Taking another deep breath in. And as you let it go, letting go of whatever happened before, earlier today, years ago. Let it go. Taking a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, letting go of whatever you perceive is going to be happening in the future. Let it go. Surrender yourself in this very moment. I invite you to take your awareness to your heart and imagine that you are now breathing through your heart chamber. And that as you do, you become more and more present to yourself and aligned within. Your body, your mind, your spirit. Imagine them all aligning up, which creates tremendous amounts of inner peace. And then I invite you now to imagine that you have roots growing from the soles of your feet down into Mother Earth, connecting to her love, her support, her wholeness. And imagining now that with each breath in, you are drawing up through those roots into your body that love and that support of Mother Earth. I invite you to see it rising up through all the cells in your body. As each one begins to vibrate in the frequency of love. And as it rises up to the top of your head, it opens your crown chakra. Allowing for divine blessings, wisdom, healing, and grace to begin pouring down through your crown and into your body. I invite you to notice the feeling of this place of connection and peace and love. And notice how you used your very own intention to create it. And in this moment, I want you to feel the beautiful, sovereign, divine being that you are. There is nobody else like you on the whole planet. Nobody with the gifts, the experiences, the talents. I invite you to surrender into that and to feel gratitude for all of who you are. And that just by being, you bring love onto the planet. You bridge heaven and earth. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go, knowing that at any time, at any moment, you can return to this place of peace and you can surrender into the arms of love when things get challenging. Gently bringing your awareness back to the room, feeling your feet on the floor and your back in the chair. All right, taking a deep breath as you return your awareness and your presence to the room. All right, so, wow, you guys are amazing. Can you feel the love in this room? Can you feel the love energy that is emanating from here out into the world? I imagine people who are driving by are like, what is going on in there? It's a good thing we got our banner out front. All right, our speaker today, I'm so excited. The Reverend Doug Craig is here in the room once again, our monthly regular speaker. Wee! I know, wee, I love when you say that. Wee, that's what life is, right? That's it. And my dream last night, that's what I had. I had this roller coaster ride that I was on, and somebody's like, is that all right? And I'm like, oh my God, it's fabulous. You wouldn't believe it. I'm like, my life currently, perhaps. Reverend Doug is one of the most authentic speakers that I've ever come across, and he has speaking of balance and duality, he has lived a huge spectrum of life, which gives him amazing wisdom to share. He's been actively involved in New Thought for over 40 years. Do we have to up that again?
Over 42.
Over 42. Okay, we're going to have to update
And
our
counting.
notes. Wow. And as you know, at Christmas time, he's also Santa Claus. I don't know why. You know, the perfect person. So please help me welcome Reverend Doug Craig.
Thank you, Susan. I guess I don't need that thing. I got this thing on, right? Whee! Okay. Oh, how did you enjoy that last week with all that heat? Well, the big talk I heard around was people are saying, whoa, I think I better sharpen up and be a little good to make sure I don't go to hell when I leave here. I don't think I can handle it. So there is a benefit of that. But the most amazing thing for me of all of that is this is Canada, and Lytton, BC set an all-time Canadian record, 49.7, 122 degrees, and that tied the hot spot in the world that day, which is usually the hot spot, which is Mecca. So all those other countries like India and all those guys and the deserts and all of that, they weren't seeing nothing like we were, and we don't want to see that again. At least I don't. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter. It was great. So the talk today is, did I or do I really get it? That is the question. And I really liked what Lisa was talking about in the Daily Word about freedom. Because really, this is what it's all about. This is what happens when you gain spiritual understanding. You have a sense of freedom that takes you into realms that you've never been before. And I got a wonderful story I'm going to close with today. And you know, I got a lot of good ones, but I've never told this, and it was 30 years ago that it happened. So that's going to be interesting why I didn't tell it, too. Anyhow, the theme is understanding, and the affirmation is, with spiritual understanding, I know everything is unfolding for my highest good. And really, we don't need to talk about anything else. That's it right there. However, it's staying in that. It's easy to say that. It's a whole lot harder and more difficult to walk the talk. And that's what we aspire to do. So, this is based on, each one of the themes and months are based on one of the disciples who represents one of the faculties within us. And that's what Jesus taught, was developing the 12 faculties of ourself to be whole and complete. And this one was the disciple Thomas. And that's the faculty of understanding. So I'm going to start out with this point. Are you a doubting Thomas? Has anybody ever heard of the word a doubting Thomas? And that's usually referred to people who question things. And it was made to be wrong. And in a way it is, but in another way it isn't, because that's what we need to do. We need to question things. And so where the transition and what the idea here is, when Jesus come around, Thomas didn't believe it was him, so he wanted him to prove it. Prove it. Okay? And so then the next other one that's a very famous one is when Jesus manifested and materialized himself, and Thomas thought it was an apparition, and he wanted to touch the scars on his hands to see if it felt real, if it was the real embodiment of him. So he was doubting, okay? And that's where the idea of about a doubting Thomas comes from. But the worst thing is doubting, which is naysaying. Doubting something and walking away and staying closed about it. So, you know, we got to work at it, and we got to work in our mind and understand it. And I like what Dennis Merritt Jones said in The Art of Abundance. The mind is a terrific servant but a terrible master. Think about that one. A terrific servant or a terrible master. If you do not take conscious control of what you're going to think about all day long, and you abscond and turn that over to chance, well, I got to tell you, as you well know, you're in for some, as Susan said, very interesting rides, and you don't even have to get on the roller coaster. You stay on the Chesterfield with that one. I mean, one of the fine qualities of mine is catastrophizing. In a positive sense, we call that visualization and embodiment and putting energizing into something. When you take it south on the other end, it's called catastrophizing, where you take a simple idea. And my favorite story is about walking down the street on this hot summer day, and there's that Doberman pincer. And he's looking at you and growling, and the fangs are bared, a little froth on the mouth. And he's looking at you like you're a beefsteak, and you stop right dead in the street. Are you with me? Got that? And you're sitting there and you're looking at him, and pretty soon you could see him lunging at you, and you're putting your hand up and he's ripping the flesh from your bone. And next thing, the EMT's got you an emergency, and the doctor's saying, rabies, can't help you. And you're already planning your funeral. And then you notice the dog's on a chain and he's tied to the tree. So there was no problem at all. But were you on that journey with me? By the way, could you feel that? Yeah, isn't it great? It's called catastrophizing. And how many times do we follow somebody that is just way out there, and you get rally people and you get hate going and violence? We're really good at that, eh? You ever notice that? So we can take this mind and make it a terrific servant or turn it over, and it can be a terrible master, self-destructive. So there are two kinds of understanding that we got to work with and learn. One is spiritual understanding, and I call that the spiritual head. So the Metaphysical Bible Unity Dictionary says spiritual understanding is the quickening of the spirit within. Spiritual understanding is the ability of the mind to apprehend and realize the laws of thought and the relationship of one idea to another. And this idea, well, what's quickening of the spirit? They say it's an inflow of divine vitality in the body. To quicken is to make alive. So when we take that take understanding, and I'll get back to the bottom level, we take it to that spiritual level, then it enlivens us. I feel more alive now today as I get older than I did when I was younger. I wonder why. Seemed like a lot more fun when I was younger, or I don't know, but it wasn't fun, I guess. It was, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? So what we got to work with is making that transition to the spiritual head. And it's really interesting how somebody could look at something and come up with an old premise. So let's say you had a case of I can't-itis. So, and I went through this just the other day with somebody I was very close to doing something, and he couldn't do what he's been doing every week for 10 years or 15 years. I can't do it because this has changed. So living in a world of I can't keeps you in a place where you never can. And we're in them places called I can't, and that was it. We just left it. However, what was very simple was looking at how I can. So in a matter of moments, Ann and I presented 3 different ways on how I can as opposed to how I can't. And if you don't think they're there, then you're right. They're not there. If you think they are, then you're right. There's a lot of different possibilities. And so that's where we make the transition from an intellectual understanding into a spiritual understanding of understanding why that happened to that person and being compassionate and understanding. and guiding them to the I can instead of the I can't. Okay? That's the spiritual part of that mechanical understanding on that level. If we look at people like that a little bit different, then we can guide them a little more if they can. And some people you could lead, like a horse, you could lead it to water, but you can't make it drink. However, always remember, you could put salt in its oats. Make it thirsty. Okay? So that's what I do. I do a lot of salting. We're just like Johnny Appleseeds here, right? We go around planting trees. Say, just like Johnny Appleseed, do you have to go back to see how many apples grew? No, you just plant the tree. Right? Okay, and then so the intellectual understanding, it's gained a lot from teachers and books or from other sources, interaction. That's an intellectual understanding. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary says intellectual understanding of truth is a tremendous step of sense consciousness, and its possession brings not only good, but a temptation to use it for selfish ends. I remember when I first got into this. I shouldn't tell this story, but it's a good one. I got into this, and I was a little bit cocky about it because I was getting things cracking here. Anybody ever done that? Well, I had this real sense that there was going to be a major movement in the gold market. And I know it because I know. So I bought a second mortgage on my house, and I went and bought all this gold mining stock because I got a sense there was going to be a major movement, and I got cocky. I didn't let it settle for a bit because it was really true. It's just that it wasn't going to go up, it was going to go down. Okay? So there are those two modes of learning. We're going to talk inspiration and desperation. Okay, that wasn't inspiration. I was a little bit desperate doing that. But that's what happens when we take things to just that intellectual understanding and even do things that we shouldn't. One of the things that happened to me about 25 years ago was I was a voracious reader. I've read 700-800 books, seen 200-300 people speak on this, blah, blah, all of that stuff. And I acquired a massive knowledge. In fact, I always said I didn't have to learn anything else to talk about this for the rest of my life. So that's what it is. It's just knowledge. It's wonderful. You could be very conversant, talk. You could look highly intelligent, but your life goes to hell. Not because of the heat, neither. It goes that way because knowledge is simply that. It's knowledge. Until we apply it, it doesn't become anything. Once we apply it, then it becomes real. That's why when I taught that interesting subject for 32 years in post-secondary called accounting, I taught it a little bit differently. I focused more on the application of it than the theory. My students did terrible on the theory, but they passed the application, which was 75-80% of the test. So who cares, right? And they got jobs. So we got to learn to apply spiritual principles. I can talk to you till the cows come home on it, and I'm still working on it, though, you see. And so that's really the difference between spiritual and intellectual understanding. The understanding comes first, and then as we work with it, we get to move from ignorance to other areas, and that's the second point. It's called understanding, and understanding is complemented by knowledge, cha-ching, and intelligence. So knowledge is the thing itself, but this is the intelligent use of the knowledge. I don't mean reiterating in post-secondary institutions. I mean taking that knowledge and applying it and seeing that same stuff as accounting as a spiritual component in how to do it. You should see it in Santa and how it works. I love it. And so when you do this, and the collective idea of taking the knowledge and intelligence, and collectively as we work with it and applies it, it leads to a degree of wisdom. I feel very comfortable over the years with what I've received as a degree of wisdom. And what does that translate into? Wisdom to me translates into peace, prosperity, fulfillment, and happiness. And that's why it's worth doing it, because it's worth becoming wise. And does that mean I don't get stupid anymore? Well, give me 10 minutes. Okay? Don't think it, because you got to look and you say, oh, he's such a saint. I always say every sinner has a future and every saint has a past. So be real clear on that. Tennyson said, knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. So it's always there. It's just when you would take the intelligence and apply it, that's where you really get that wisdom. I like peace, prosperity, fulfillment, intelligence. I like the freedom that Lisa was talking about to be able to know about that and choose that. Can you imagine being ignorant of the idea that you can actually experiencing that and being locked into that for the rest of your life? The awakening is worth it. How long did it take me to get it? I can honestly say I'm starting to get it. More of it and recognizing it and accepting it. But it took a long time because, sometimes there's a lot of stupidity to work through. Not that I know anything about that. Eric Butterworth said, spiritual discernment always places wisdom above the other faculties of mind and reveals that knowledge and intelligence are auxiliary to understanding. Intellectual understanding comes first in the soul's development, then a deeper understanding of principle follows until the man ripens into wisdom. So we've got to approach life in a more of an intelligent manner. Walt Disney said that we keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we are curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. And that's what we are. We're spiritual adventurers, spiritual warriors, spiritual wayfinders, wayshowers. Dennis Merritt Jones said in The Art of Uncertainty, amazing things wait for you on the path just beyond the next door. You're either pushed by pain or pulled by possibility. Eventually, you'll be compelled to pass through the door marked uncertainty. What brings us to the precipice of uncertainty varies. Sometimes it's a pain of desperation. Sometimes it's a bliss of inspiration. So we're always going to come to that precipice of uncertainty and change. It's just a matter, are we going to be drawn to it or pushed to it? So one of the things is, I got a really good story here. And it's really relevant today, in today's world. And it's one that I come to resolve. This started when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And I resolved just over 30 years ago. And how the story goes like this. I'll tell you what the impact of it is on one end, and I can prove it on the other end. And the story is how does a nice young white boy grow up to be racist, prejudiced, and extremely homophobic? How the hell does that happen? How does that happen to a nice young kid? Especially when the idols and heroes in my life are my father and my grandfather and all the great things they done, but they gave me something else that caused me the most grief of anything in my life. And I never shared it, and it's a great story, and I always ask myself, why not? Because, folks, until just recently, and working through it, there was an element of deep shame around it, even though I'd done it. So the story is, how does that happen? It happens when you grow up and you hear your father and grandfather, you know, the old British Empire and the French-English thing. Well, that transferred over to Canada with them, and it became French Canadians, Quebec. And they were all whatever they were. And it wasn't just, you know, French people from Quebec, it was anybody. And then I grew up near an indigenous reserve, so there's a titch of that going on, racism there, right? And so I worked through those issues, and over a period of time, you know, there's other ways to be racist and prejudiced other than what I did. And the big one was for me was the French one, and my best friend that I hike with all the time is from Quebec. He's French. My wife's from Quebec. My son-in-law, who is with my daughters, living in Gatineau, and he's more French than you can even say French are. And my grandson's going to a French school, and a couple of my other friends are French, and one of my other best friends is half French. What the hell? Somebody was lying to me, right? I was trapped into thinking that there was something wrong with those people. There's nothing wrong with them. I got by that, and I opened up the door, and I have some of the most loving people in my life, and my best friends and everything are all Quebec. Okay. So how about the homophobic thing? How did that happen? Well, you know, my dad was a war vet, and he hung around with combat veterans. You know, they were in 2, 3, 4 years of war, serious stuff. And I was a sensitive boy. I wasn't like my brother or other boys. I was a very sensitive, and I hurt, and I cried. And my dad always looked at me, and he says, "Stop that. You're nothing but a woman or a queer." Well, you hear that as a kid growing up, and you're going, holy crap, Batman. I don't want to be like that. Maybe I am, and I don't know it. So there's this kid that goes from a small town of 715 people in his grade 9 class to the big city, Banff. 2 classes of 30 people in each one. Well, that's a big change. And I go there, and I'm 15. And, you know, it's a big change, and I'm kind of stupid about a whole lot of things. And so we would go for coffee in the restaurant. We'd be sitting all there, lots of guys around. And one day this guy comes up, this old guy, and he sits right beside me. Okay. And then all of a sudden he starts to caress me on my leg and then on the inside. You know the drill and routine. And I start freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I froze. I was scared. I was freaked out. And so here's where it goes, eh? Oh, maybe I am a queer, because I found out this guy was queer. And I started freaking out, because I didn't really feel like I was, but I didn't know. And I was too afraid of girls, because, you know, when you're going through that age, you have all of that. And I didn't want to try it with girls, because what if I found out I was? So this happened again about a month or so later in another facility at a pizza joint where he come and perched by me. Eh? Same thing, and I freaked out. And I guess I must be like that, but why me? Why not somebody else? And so then last time I was a little bit inebriated. I don't know what happened. He never done it after that, but there was some violence involved, and it got really messy. I can't remember. I blacked out. Anyhow, you know, so I don't want to find this out. So I put on. I was a 175 buff, solid, hardcore football player, and in 2.5 years I was 325 pounds. And I was drinking like crazy, because any girls don't want to go out with a guy that big and that drunk and was always beating people up and stuff like that, right? Of course, I did it because I didn't want anybody to know that I might be a queer. Do you see how confusing that is? And finally, I got through that portion when I had my first experience with a girl when I was 22 years old. And I liked it. And I got over that real quick. And so, but it was still sitting there, eh? So all these years go by, and I'm hardcore, and this is it, that those guys are. And they're all the same, and blah, blah, you know, the drill and routine. And then I get into this teaching. Oh, God. So a lot of my heroes, as I was going through in it, were all queer. And I'm going, holy crap, Batman. I like these guys, and yet they're... So I decided that I had to do something about it. Keep in mind, nobody ever heard this. Nobody. I never talked. So I was down to a youth camp. I took my kids down in around 1990. And the leader, she was just a beautiful lady, and she was queer too. And so one time she said, hey, Doug, I go to a neat restaurant. Let's get away from this camp food and go out for dinner. Just her and me. Divine presence and timing. This was my opportunity to talk to Pam, and I told her my story. And oh my God, I found out that there's a difference between being gay and being a pedophile. That man wasn't gay. He wasn't queer. He was a pedophile. And that made everything so much different for me. And then it took time to work through that because it was really entrenched. And I just love these people. My best female friend is gay. I call it gay now because I passed that stage. That was the story. And so there you go. And I've been speaking here 15 out of the last 16 years. And nobody ever knew about it. Anna never heard it till last week. And I share it here because I think it's an extremely valuable story for anybody that's sitting out there that might be wanting to move forward with some of their stuff. Because I can tell you the wonderful people I got in my life that were not going to be there had I not changed and come out of ignorance into the light. And you know, I've been doing this a long time, and there's still more to come. How do I know that? Because I'm still here, right? You're still here. There's still more to come. You got to do. If you go tomorrow, it means you're done. Well, how do you know he's done? Is he here anymore? No, he's gone, so it's done. So I know for yourself, as I know for me, that within each one of us, that divine right action takes place in our lives, and there's a gradual, orderly, sequential unfoldment into form of the highest and best that we are. I accept this. I know it. I give thanks that it is so, and so it is. Whee! Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Okay, before we do the next song, I'm directing my attention to those of you in TV land. It kind of reminds me of who remembers Romper Room?
Romper room.
Romper Room. I see Carrie. I see Adele and Shona, Wayne, Flo. Hi, Flo. Lorraine, Shirley, Chris. Most of my favorite people are on this list. So thank you for tuning in at home. Hopefully we'll see you here in the flesh one day, 1 week in the future. And let's do another song. This is Your Voice Becomes My Voice. I have heard it said to get there I'll need a goal. I have heard it said I'm the one who's in control. And if I just try hard enough, well then one day I'll be at my best. And then everything I want so much will surely manifest. But where's the mystery in that? So I lay down my will, and I offer up my choice. becomes my voice. I have heard that I can have the life I want, and that all I need to do is follow laws. If I somehow manage all my thoughts, oh, then one day I'll be at my best, and then everything I visualize surely manifest. Oh, but where's the mystery in that? So I lay down my will, and I offer up my choice. I surrender all my plans, and your voice becomes my voice. Oh, how long I have fought for how I thought my life should be. Now I see the bigger picture wasn't painted just for me. Oh, how hard I have held to a dream not meant to be. Now I see in my surrender you have a greater plan for me. If I just let go and let it flow, oh, then right now here I can rest, and then things I never dreamed to be surely manifest. Oh, behold the mystery in that. So I lay down my will, and I offer up my choice. I surrender all my plans, and your voice becomes my voice. I surrender all my plans, and your voice becomes my voice. The end.
Wow. Thank you so much, Anthony. Aren't we blessed to have such an amazing, talented band every week? Yeah. The whole band. And Doug, thank you so much for that beautiful message of spiritual understanding and for feeling safe enough to share your really vulnerable, heartfelt story. I know that we can all relate, right, in our own lives of, yeah. That's what we're here to do, right? We're here to grow and to become our divine essence, right? To let go of all that imprinting, all that programming that we got from our growing up in our society, and to truly be the divine beings that we are. And yes, it's a lifetime of work, isn't it? I know. All right, so now let's enter the time of conscious giving. Together, using our time, our talent, and our treasure, we create this beautiful, amazing space where we can come and inspire each other, support one another in this journey of becoming ourselves. Thank you so much for your love offering donation. If you are here in person, you can put your donation into the baskets. If you are at home somewhere else in the world, you can send an e-transfer to donate@unityofcalgary.org, or you can go onto our website and you can donate there. And if you like it the old-fashioned way, you can send a check in the mail. That works as well. So we know that this community is a blessing and that financial abundance is coming our way. So I invite you to stand. You've been sitting down for a while, and the band will sing our offering song, Give with an Open Heart.
Give with an open heart. Yeah, I'm gonna give with an open heart. I'm grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for my life. And I trust that a higher power will always be there to provide. And that's why I give with an open heart. Yeah, that's why I give with an open heart. Well, I place my faith in the Spirit. Yes, I want to mention every day. And I let go of all the troubles and worries. Abundance always comes my way. And that's why I give with an open heart. And that's why I give with an open heart. Oh, I'm gonna give with an open heart. Yeah, I'm gonna give with an open heart.
I would like you all to join with me and realize we're blessing, first of all, ourselves. Divine love, as me, blesses
All I have, all that I have,
all that I give and all that I receive. Thank you ever so much, because today is a special day for me. It's my 51st wedding anniversary. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cecil. Sorry, are you trying to send me a Morse code message there? Okay. All right. I was like, it's like, okay, I'm getting messages from the dugout back there. So not sure what it was all about. Okay, the blessing for the children. The beautiful child in our presence here, the children of the world, the children in our life, and our very own dear inner children. I invite you to affirm with me. We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. And I invite you to stand in front of the mirror every morning and say that to yourself. That is your challenge for this week, to say that blessing for you. All right, you can have a seat for a moment as we take a quiet moment and bring to our awareness anything that we want to surrender into prayer. For we know that turning it over to Spirit opens the way for abundant blessings to unfold. And there's many ways that you can get prayer support. Of course, if you're here, you can fill out the little piece of the prayer request form and put it into our prayer box. If you are at home, you can go onto our website and click the link, or you can send an email to prayer@unityofcalgary.org. Your prayer request is held in love by the Unity prayer team for 30 days, and it's also sent down and held in love by silent unity for 30 days. And if you're having a real tough time and you need some immediate prayer support, you can always call the Silent Unity prayer line, 1-800-NOW-PRAY. So taking just a moment to see if there's anything on your heart that you are ready to surrender into prayer. And we know that you don't even have to do any of those things to write it. You can just use the power of your intention to put it into our prayer box and know that it will be heard. And we also hold in love and prayer all the other unities across Canada who are bringing this message of love and awakening and awareness and spiritual understanding this month. And in particular this month we hold in love Unity Windsor and Unity Mississauga. We see them having the love and the support that they need to continue cultivating the consciousness and bringing the message of unity across our country. So I invite you to affirm with me the prayer of protection. The light that is God surrounds me. I am the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am the love. The power that is God protects me. I am the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Amen. All right, and I invite you to stand as together we will sing Return to Love.
Whenever I am burdened by the pressures of this world, I return to love. Whenever I am lost, my soul cannot be hurt, I return to love. I return to love. I return to love. And every worry disappears when I return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear. All because I return my soul to love. Whenever I am prone to judge the path that I am on, I return to love. Whenever I am torn between what's coming and what's gone, I return to love. I return to love. I return to love. And every worry disappears when I return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear. All because I return myself to love. Oh, love, love, love is the only pure word speaking of. Oh, yes, love, love, love takes us deep within, helps us rise above. Yes, love, love, love. We return ourselves to love. Oh, we return to love. And every worry disappears when we return to love. Oh, everything becomes so clear. All because we return ourselves to love. We return ourselves to love, all because we return ourselves to love.
Indeed, we return ourselves to love. Thank you so much for everybody joining us here this morning, live and online. We're going to send a wave of peace out into the world now, so I invite you to go to the outsides, and together we will sing, "Let There Be Peace on Earth."
Peace on earth, and let it begin. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other, perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Have a beautiful week and take your beautiful love out into the world. Take it away.